Whether we like it or not, electric cars are the future, and that means that in a few years' time, whether you want a small car or an SUV, the chances are it's going to have to be electric. There are a few hurdles to overcome first, and to be honest, there are some seriously talented petrol, diesel and hybrid cars still on sale. But if an electric car suits your needs and you've got the deepest of deep pockets, what is the ultimate EV? Could this be it?
This is the new Audi e-tron GT. It's the brand's flagship saloon and, you guessed it, it's electric. There are two models to choose from, the standard GT and the RS. Both are luxurious, quiet and comfortable, and neither are slow. So if, like we mentioned, you've got near unlimited funds, we're talking £80,000 plus, is this the finest future-proofed car you can buy?
Firstly, I'd like you all just to take a look at it. We drive everything here at Carbuyer, and I mean everything, but nothing turns heads like this thing does. Yesterday, I was at a charging point filling it with some juice, and a guy in a Honda CR-V came up to me and said, "Do you want to swap?" I mean, of course he said that. And then this morning on the motorway, two guys in a Ford Focus pulled up alongside me, smartphones in hand, gawping at this thing's sleek four-door body. And I know styling is subjective, but this thing, just soak it all in.
Oh, and while you're at it, why not take the time to give this video a quick thumbs up, subscribe to the Carbuyer YouTube channel, and hit the notification button so you're in the know every time a new video goes live.
And that futuristic look doesn't stop when you get in here. It's just a beautifully cohesive piece of design. Now the dials, they're not that different to what you'll get in an A3 or a Q5, but they still look great, and we're used to the level of quality and customization, which is pretty much unrivaled anywhere in the market. The central screen, it can feel a little bit ponderous if you leave the haptic feedback on, but otherwise it looks and feels great. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, while down here you get some proper physical climate control buttons. It's not perfect though. The driving position is lovely, you do get to sit really nice and low, but ergonomically there are a few things that just aren't quite right. These cup holders, they just get in the way, okay? There's not a normal gear lever that you have to interact with, but it just doesn't feel comfortable, and you can't then put it in the door pockets when you're done with it either, because they are weirdly shallow and a little bit wide, so it rolls around. This middle cubby as well, it's not really useful for anything more than a set of keys.
As we mentioned, there are currently two e-tron GT models to choose from, each of which is available in a range of trims. Full specs are available at carbuyer.co.uk, just head to the website and search for Audi e-tron GT. Just be careful you don't get muddled with the e-tron SUV, that is a very different beast. Personally, we'd stick with the entry-level GT, which comes with LED lights, 20-inch wheels and quattro all-wheel drive, plus all the interior tech and smartphone connectivity you'd expect. Four-sprung models like ours add different wheels, air suspension and a Bang & Olufsen stereo. Lovely, but not worth the extra 25k.
Now I know we've not run through the performance figures just yet, but you'd expect a car like this to be seriously fun to drive, and you wouldn't be wrong. The e-tron shares a lot of its parts with Porsche's first electric car, the Taycan, which is a great base to start with. It's sharp, it's comfortable, it's quiet, so long as you leave the sound synthesizer off, and it's fast. It's really, really fast. This entry-level model gets 469 brake horsepower and does 0 to 62 miles an hour in 4.1 seconds. So look, if I just bring this thing to a stop and I'll put my foot on the brake and full throttle and launch, oh my God, it is so fast. And to think that the RS model gets another 120 horsepower and slashes the 0 to 62 mile an hour time by almost a second, it just makes me shiver. But like the Taycan or the Tesla Model S, it's the way the e-tron develops its power and puts it down on the road that takes your breath away. It's like someone's taken your insides, your stomach, and left them on the road behind you. Put it this way, I wouldn't want to do launches like that time and time again. Of course, grip and traction are helped by Audi's quattro all-wheel drive system, which has been updated for the brand's all-electric future. It just makes the car feel so agile and light on its toes, something which the e-tron does not deserve to be, because this thing weighs just shy of 2.5 tons.
Understandably, that weight affects efficiency. Audi claims with a 93 kWh battery, the e-tron will return a range between 283 and 298 miles depending on which model you go for. Our version is officially the best of the lot, though in our experience even gentle motorway cruising only returns a range of around 240 to 250 miles, or a good chunk less if you make regular use of all that power. It doesn't benefit from the kind of strong regenerative braking we've become so accustomed to either. If you're used to something like a BMW i3 which slows quite dramatically when you lift off the accelerator, you'll have to get used to using the normal brake pedal again. Thankfully, this car will charge faster than almost anything else on sale. Okay, you'll need the right rapid charger, but find one capable of the Audi's 270 kilowatt maximum, and you're looking at a 10 to 80% charge well over 200 miles in just 23 minutes. For context, that's more than 5 times as fast as a Renault Zoe will charge for only 3 times the price. Topping up the e-tron at home takes longer though, due to the sheer size of this car's battery. A 7 kilowatt home wall box will do the job in around 13.5 hours, though even if the battery is completely flat, that's near enough achievable overnight.
The e-tron GT actually has 2 boots, a normal one at the back and one here at the front. We'll start here because this is where I've been keeping the charging cables. Okay, it's not the biggest space in the world, but it keeps the wires out of the way and there's probably enough room in there to keep another soft bag should you need to. Moving round to the rear, Audi says that this boot measures 405 litres, but it's compromised by that saloon opening. You can fit 1, maybe 1.5 suitcases in there, but it's just not really practical enough. And if you go for the RS version, it shrinks to 350 litres. You wonder why people buy SUVs. And the compromises continue in here. Okay, it's not disastrously tight, but I'm just over 6 foot tall and I'm pushed for space in pretty much every direction. I certainly wouldn't want to be sat in the middle seat for particularly long. Kids will be fine back here though, although getting child seats in here is another matter entirely because those doors, they're really long and they don't open all that wide. You've got convenience features like the heated seats and the 3-zone climate control, plus some vents for the rear seat occupants. But there aren't any USB ports and that could prove a problem if you've got young kids back here. Should we summarise with some deal makers and deal breakers?
Thanks to its Porsche part sharing, this is as close as you'll get to a pure electric sports car for the time being. If you enjoy driving, it's right up there with the very best petrol performance saloons. Audi knows how to do interiors. From A1 to e-tron, quality is faultless. The e-tron leads the way when it comes to fast charging. A 10 to 80% charge returns more than 200 miles of range, and given the right plug, takes just 23 minutes. Despite being a 4-door, 5-seater, practicality is an area you will need to compromise on. Space in the back isn't great and the boot is tight. The big battery makes up for it, but don't forget to calculate how much you'll be spending on charging. The e-tron will use almost twice as much electricity as something like a Mini Electric.
Wow. If you are a car enthusiast mourning the death of the petrol engine, then take a seat in one of these. You'll have to think of it as a kind of 2+2 sports car with a pair of occasional rear seats and a smallish boot. But in terms of quality, in terms of refinement, in terms of performance, this Audi e-tron GT is sublime. For me, base spec as it comes in this Kimura grey paint.
If you like this video, then why not watch our review of the Tesla Model S or our electric cars playlist. As ever, thanks for watching.